syllabus also, no?
Yes, that's right.
So let us start with the Prime Minister. We have already completed discussed the President of India. Now we will discuss today the Prime Minister. So as you know that the President of India is the nominal executive authority, and in fact the Prime Minister is the real executive authority in our parliamentary system. So here we can say that the President is the head of the state, constitutional head, but the Prime Minister is the head of the government. So Prime Minister is the leader of the cabinet minister. So the cabinet actually enjoys the governance. So let us see who can be appointed as the Prime Minister, eligibility criteria. So there are mainly three criteria. The person must be citizen of India. The person must be a member of parliament, means either Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha. So as you know, the eligibility criteria to become a Lok Sabha member is 25 years and Rajya Sabha member is 30 years. So any person who have completed 25 years of age, if he is member of Lok Sabha, he can become a minister, a prime minister. Or if he is from Rajya Sabha, means he must have completed 30 years of age. And there is only one condition. Condition is a person cannot be the Prime Minister of India if he holds any office of profit under the government of India or the government of any state or any local or the other authority subject to the control of any of the state government. So it should not be government official and it should not be holding any office of the profit. So these are the three eligibility criteria with this condition. Now, the appointment of the Prime Minister. So, our Article 75 says that the Prime Minister shall be appointed by the President. Okay? But it does not imply that President is free to appoint anyone. So, there is some constitutional reservation that following the conventions of the parliamentary system of the government, the President has to appoint the leader of majority party in Lok Sabha as the Prime Minister. So only the leader of the majority party can be appointed as the Prime Minister of India. But suppose if there is no party who have clear majority, then what will happen? Then the President may exercise his discretion in the selection of appointment of the Prime Minister. So in such situation, the President usually appoints the leader of the largest party or coalition in the Lok Sabha as a Prime Minister, and he can ask him to seek a vote of confidence in House. So you might remember that the Chandrasekhar Prime Minister, he became the Prime Minister and his party had only 40 seats. Means out of 545, how many? Only 40 seats. So he didn't have the majority, but the President appointed him because he That time, Chandrasekhar ji made a coalition and he became the Prime Minister. So it was coalition government. And once Atal Bihari Vajpayee was also the Prime Minister, but he didn't have the majority. So he was appointed as a Prime Minister, but simply because of the lack of vote of confidence, he lost his seat. So means the person must be the leader of the party which has clear majority in the Lok Sabha. As you know, very soon the results will be declared today for the elections of 5 states. So whichever party obtains the majority in the assembly, they will form their government, and the majority party will have the right to become the chief minister. They will select the chief minister from among themselves. So, okay, this is about the appointment. Now, let us see the powers and functions of the Prime Minister. So, as I told, the Prime Minister is the head of the government and he is the leader of the cabinet minister. So, we will start here with the powers and functions of the Prime Minister concerning the Council of Ministers. So, being a head of the Council of Ministers. So, here you see, the Prime Minister enjoys the following powers as head of the Union of the Council of Ministers. Number one, just after being appointed as a Prime Minister, the Prime Minister recommends the persons who can be appointed as a minister by the President. So the President can appoint only those persons as ministers who are recommended by the Prime Minister. So it is the discretion of the Prime Minister to recommend the names of the persons who are member of either Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha for the Council of Ministers. So this is the first. So after formation of Council of Ministers, he has the right, he has the power to allocate and reshuffle various portfolios among the ministers. So after all the persons who have joined as a minister, it is the power of the Prime Minister to allocate them the portfolios, the departments. Okay, so like Defense Minister, Home Minister, Education Minister, Finance Minister, Railways Ministers. So this type of allocation, the allocation of portfolio is the power of the Prime Minister only. And he has a power to reshuffle his time to time. So I think last year itself, earlier we are in the HRD department. So Ramesh Pokhriyal was the Education Minister of India. But in the year 2021, in the month of July last year, Prime Minister reshuffled his cabinet and now Dharmendra Pradhan is our MHRD Minister. Okay. The Prime Minister can also ask a minister to resign or advise the President to dismiss him in case of a difference of opinion. Okay. So Other than these, he presides over the meeting of the councils. The Prime Minister presides over the meeting of the Council of Ministers and influences the decisions. Okay. He guides, he directs, he controls and coordinates the activities of all ministers. So, and you might be knowing that how our Prime Minister, so he's a very strong Prime Minister. So he's the guiding force. He gives directions, controls and coordinates all the activities of all the ministers. Okay. And then finally, he can bring about the collapse of the Council of Ministers by resigning from office. So once the Prime Minister resigns, the whole cabinet will be collapsed. Okay. Now, these were the powers concerning to the Council of Ministers. Now, in his day-by-day activities, the Prime Minister is concerned with the President also. So the powers concerning to presidents, these are, he is the principal channel of communication between the President and the Council of Ministers. So whatever decision is taken, he communicates to the President. So here it is the duty of the Prime Minister to communicate to the President all the decisions of the Council of Ministers relating to the administration of the affairs of the Union and proposals of the legislations. And second, it is his responsibility to furnish such informations relating to administration of affairs of the Union and the proposals of the legislations as the President may call for. And the third one is, if the President requires, he has to submit the consideration of the Council of Ministers any matter on which a decision has been already taken by the ministers but has not been considered by the Council. So, and then second, he also advises the President concerning the appointment of important officials. So who are these important officials? So the Attorney General of India, Comptroller and Auditor General of India, Chairman and members of the UPSC, Election Commissioners, Chairman and members of Finance Commission, and so on. These all important positions are filled up by the President on the advice of the Prime Minister. So the President cannot appoint any person in such positions on its own level, but he has to take advice from the Prime Minister. Okay. So, being a head of the Council of Ministers, there are some powers and functions related to the concerning to the Council of Ministers. Now, I also told the powers or the functions concerning to the President. Now, the Prime Minister is the member of the Parliament. So, as the member of the Parliament, he has some roles and responsibilities concerning to the Parliament. So, these are the Prime Minister, the leader of the lower house. In this capacity, he enjoys so many powers, like he advises the President about summoning and proroguing of the sessions of the Parliament. So, you might be knowing, like in Jharkhand state, so the session is going on. So in the state, it is the responsibility of the chief minister. In the same manner, it is the responsibility of the prime minister to advise the president for summoning so that the sessions can be started. He can also recommend the dissolution of Lok Sabha to president at any time. So if the prime minister recommends for the dissolution of the Lok Sabha, the president has to dissolve it. And he also announces government policies on the floor of the house. So as you know, all the policies are usually announced in the floor of the house only. Now, some other powers and functions are the prime minister has various others rules, like he is the chairman of the planning commission. Now it is known as Niti Aayog, National Development Council, National Integration Council, Interstate Council, and National Water Resources Council. So he is the ex officio chairman of all these commissions and the councils. He also plays a significant role in shaping the foreign policy of the country. Now, as you know, like our Prime Minister Narendra Modi is a very strong Prime Minister and he influences our foreign policy, and you better know what is going on. Simply, you show your tricolor in the students are showing tricolors in Ukraine, and they almost all of them have returned back. Just by showing the tricolor. It is the influence, impact of the foreign policy taken up by shaped by the Narendra Modi ji. So the Prime Minister is the chief spokesman of the Union government. So he acts as the spokesman of the Union government. So every time you mention the government policies, the activities from the Narendra Modi ji, as he is the chief spokesman, being a Prime Minister of Union of India. He is a crisis manager in chief at the political levels during emergencies. And as a leader of the nation, he meets various sections of people in different states and receives memoranda from them regarding their problems. So it is his responsibility to solve the problems of each and every citizen in India. So he visits all the states, he meets different people from different sections, and after taking memorandum from them, he tries to solve these problems. So, as I already told, is the leader of the majority party in the power, and he is the political head of the services. So, thus, the Prime Minister plays a very significant and highly crucial role in political or administrative system of the country. And so, these are the different powers and functions of the President of India. Now, the term and retirement age of the Prime Minister. So, as you know, usually there is no fixed timing. So, as the 5 year, the tenure of the Lok Sabha or the Lok Sabha is for the 5 years. Means once he is appointed, he will continue as a Prime Minister till the full term of the Lok Sabha. So for the 5 years. So 5 years is the normal life of the Lok Sabha. But the term ends if sooner, then he has to lose his. Or suppose he has lost his vote of confidence in the lower house, then also he has to resign. So it is said that the Prime Minister remains in power as long as he enjoys the confidence in Lok Sabha. So he may even resign also before time. So there is no term limit on the office of the Prime Minister. Narendra Modi, for the first time, 2014, and then again 2019, he became the Prime Minister. And as I told, there is no term limit. So if his party obtains majority in the forthcoming election in the year 2024, he can again become the Prime Minister. So there is no term limit, and there is no official retirement age even. So you might remember about the age of the Manmohan Singh. So there is no time limit. Okay. No age limit. There is no term limit. So these are the different roles, responsibilities, powers of the Prime Minister. Now, as I told, the President is the head of the state, but the Prime Minister is the head of the government. So what is the relationship between the President and the Prime Minister? So it has been explained in such a way, like Article 74. So the Article 74 says that there shall be a Council of Ministers with the Prime Minister at the head to aid and advise the President, who shall, in exercise of his functions, acts in accordance with such advice. So, however, the President may require the Council of Ministers to reconsider such advice, and the President shall act as per the advice of the advice tendered after such reconsideration. So, Prime Minister is the main advisor of the President of India. And, the Council of Ministers shall be collectively responsible to the House of People. So, the Prime Minister shall be appointed by the President, and the other ministers shall be appointed by the President on the advice of the Prime Minister. The minister shall hold office during the pleasure of the President. So this is the relationship between President and the Prime Minister or the Council of Ministers. So that's why the Council of Ministers shall be collectively responsible to the House of People. Just a minute. Article 78. So, according to Article
According to Bijus, Article 78 of the Constitution of India deals with the duties of the Prime Minister in respect to the furnishing of.
It shall be the duty of the Prime Minister to communicate to the President all decisions of the Council of Ministers relating to the administration of affairs of the Union and proposals for legislation. Then, to furnish such information relating to the administration of the affairs of Union and proposals. Am I audible? Network is okay, Harshvardhan?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, it is the responsibility to furnish such informations relating to the administration of the affairs of the Union and proposals for legislation as President may call for. And the third one is, as per Article 78, if the President so requires, to submit for consideration the Council of Ministers any matter on which a decision has been taken by the minister but which has not been considered by the Council. So, President can ask to submit for such considerations. So these are the powers and functions of the Prime Minister. So, some problem occurred. So, let us complete the attendance first. Otherwise, there is network issue. Download attendance list. Now, as a Prime Minister, he enjoys so many benefits. So you might be knowing that the residence, his residence is located at 7 Race Course Road. Now it is known as Lok Kalyan Marg, in New Delhi. And this residence is being used first time Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru His residence was in Teen Murti Bhavan. है ना? Lal Bahadur Shastri was in 10 Janpat. Okay. Indira Gandhi was residing at Safdarjung Road. But once the Rajiv Gandhi became the Prime Minister, he shifted his residence from Safdarjung Road to 7 Racecourse Road, which is now known as Lok Kalyan Mall. And for his protection, there is a special protection group, SPG, you might have heard. Right? So it is the responsibility of the SPG to protect the Prime Minister. And about his office, the Prime Minister office is located at South Block. Right? It is a 20-room complex and has the Cabinet Secretariat. Ministry of Defense is also there. Ministry of External Affairs is also there. So these are all about the President, his powers and functions. So as I described, the Prime Minister enjoys executive powers, legislative power, as well as the administrative power and appointing authorities also. So this is all about the Prime Minister of India. So okay, attendance already taken. We'll discuss some more topics and then we'll go for the second quiz. Okay. So okay, Aswardhan, we can leave now. Yeah. Aswardhan.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, I am leaving now. Huh? Okay. End meeting. Here it is. End.